Leo, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me over, Ellie.
Thanks. So, Dad, I wanted to talk to you about 10 ways to reinvent yourself from an unexpected job loss. Can you tell us a little bit about your story and what happened?
Well, as you know, Ellie, I used to work for Lucent Technologies, and they had a downsizing.
Yeah.
And even though I was fairly high up in the company at the time, they literally let go thousands of people.
And so was it shocking, or were you expecting it? Or was it?
You really don't know because, every other week there was a group of hundreds of people who were let go. So you knew for sure that potentially it could happen to you.
Right. So then what did you do? So you lost your job, then what had happened?
Well, after I got over the shock, which I probably still haven't,
Sure.
my wife came up to me and said, well, you can't watch TV for the next 20 years or so you got to do something. So I asked her, okay, got any ideas? And she said, yes, try accounting. Well,
And why would she think accounting was the right thing for you?
She knew accounting as a field was still pretty stable at that time. So it's not so much that she thought it was good for me personally, but as a field in general, she thought it was something with opportunity. So I said, okay.
So what year was this?
2002.
Right, so the market was going down, people were struggling all over.
Yeah, I tried to find a job, and the market was fairly dead at that time. There was literally, like I said, thousands of people who were released about the same time. So it made the market really difficult.
Right. And so you were going for your accounting degree, and then you got your master's in accounting? Or?
That's correct. I eventually got my master's, and I tried doing accounting for a while, but I realized
you didn't have a passion for it.
Well, that's true. I did not have a passion, and also, I was in my 40s, late 40s at the time, and I realized that it takes a while to really develop it enough so that you're able to earn the living that I needed to do.
Right.
So
because you had 5 kids to take care of.
Yeah, a lot of kids, a mortgage, the routine that you have to do. So I realized that this was going to take a while, and frankly, I just didn't have the time to spend the next 20 years developing this career.
Right, and at the time, Mom was a nurse.
She was a nurse.
Making very little, doing 2 days of work, right?
She did well, but she worked part-time. So, it just didn't bring home enough money to pay the bills.
Right. And so then what happened?
Well, I got a job in accounting, and it was not earning enough money, and I didn't really have the passion for it either.
Right, so it's no go both ways.
Yeah, it just didn't really work out for me. So I was trying to reinvent myself, and reinvention phase 1 did not work as well as I would hope.
It didn't go exactly as planned.
Not exactly. So I got to say, okay, let's try phase 2. Let's try to do this one more time.
Right.
So I had a friend who worked at a small little shop doing .NET applications, which is a type of software developed by Microsoft. And they do things, and it's certainly the technology that was in vogue at the time.
Yeah, and more interesting to your
Well,
expertise.
at least the software development was in general.
Yeah.
So
Can you explain what software development is?
Well, it's just writing programs, coding.
It's like C++, Java.
Right. Those are certain languages. And, I did that all my life, so I was very familiar with it, but I was working in telecom.
Right. And when did you graduate college?
Boy, that's a hard one. I graduated college several times.
First time.
I got my original degree in electrical engineering, but that was at WashU back in, I believe, 1981.
So it's been a long road of education for you.
It's been a very long road. And going back to school, frankly, to get your master's was not an easy road, especially considering this was a business type of thing. The master's in accounting is more business-oriented.
Right.
I had my experience in engineering.
Right.
Very different.
Totally. I could just imagine, I know for myself, it's always tempting to be to go back to school and get a higher degree and all this. But I really love my job. I work for Cachette. For anybody who doesn't know, it's a special needs organization. We help children and adults with special needs, and I love it. So I wouldn't imagine doing anything else. So for me, even though I don't make very much, I get a lot of reward out of it through, just living it every day. So, but I understand, like, there's always that pressure to go back to school, get a more degree, get more money and all that stuff. But for me, it's even though a lot of people try to pressure me to go back to school.
I mean, when I worked at Bell Labs,
Yeah.
Then it became Lucent, it was the job of a lifetime. It truly was. I truly enjoyed the job. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. So
I remember going to their holiday parties. It was a lot of fun.
it was a great place to be. There's no denial. But eventually it came to an end, and then the shock of it ending, I had to deal with that. And that was probably, doing this is probably the hardest job I ever had.
Yeah, being unemployed and looking for a job is one of the hardest jobs that you could have.
Right.
A lot of people, they think, okay, like going on monster.com or going on the internet and Googling, looking for a job, or Indeed.com is like the only way to go.
Yeah, I was totally shocked when I lost my job because I thought, well, look, I'm so high up in this company, Bell Labs. It is the company. Lucent was on the top of its game. And then I discovered no one wanted me, and that kind of hurt.
For sure, but look at you now.
Yeah, but
you made it through. Some people don't.
It's a very long road. It truly was.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's always that like sense of loss when you go through a job loss and all of that. But a lot of people can just spiral down, and go through this, depression about it. But I mean, look at you. Like you picked yourself up. You were able to still provide for your family, get a job, and work hard and do it. And thank God, Mom got a good job and she's working hard. But I feel like a lot of families across America, are also like they're struggling with this, and maybe only one parent is able to provide for the family, and then the mother has to take care of the children because they can't afford child care and all this. I mean, I know other family members that are struggling with this, and so.
No, it's for sure a very difficult job. And one of the things to keep in mind that even though one opportunity doesn't come up that you really want, sometimes you have to reinvent yourself more than once. Sometimes you have to try one thing and see if it works and successful. And if it doesn't, then you got to try something else. But the idea is you just can't give up. That's
true. Can't give up. You got to keep going. I mean, I know for myself, I mean, not that I was, I thank God I always had a job, but, I first started in preschool. I was working with little kids in preschool, and I mean, it was okay. It was fine, but I wasn't like in love with it. Like, it was a little boring, But then I looked around. I saw different positions available, and I said, you know what? Like, I'm going to try something different. And I tried working with special needs people. And you know what? I never done that before in my life. It was awesome. Like, and then I loved it, and I fell in love with it, So, like, you never know what you really are good at or what you're passionate at until you try it. So it's always worth trying.
That's for sure.
And my degree was in drama and theater, so, I mean, hell. I mean, you never know. You never know what you're going to end up doing. And thank God, I'm very happy with what I'm doing. And
well, that goes for me, too. I mean, I got my degree in electrical engineering, and, they came around and said, hey, who wants to do software design? And I said, hey, I'll give it a shot. And guess what? 40 years later, I'm still doing it.
Pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So what is software design? What do you do?
Well, it's basically taking a look at a need, right? And they give you a set of requirements. And they say, we need something to do A, B, and C. And you have to code the computer in order to accomplish those requirements.
I took one class in computers in college, and I'm glad it was only one. It was like, it literally is a foreign language. You're learning a completely new language.
Right. That's absolutely true. Some people are very good at it and love it.
Yeah.
But it's not for everyone.
Totally. Well, Dad, thank you for being on. Leo Bromberg, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, because it's a hard story, and it's a story that I think a lot of our listeners could really empathize with and could learn from how you got back up and got out there. And I think that's really important. So thank you so much.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Thank you very much.
So next on is going to be Moshe Klein from Power Networking Radio. He'll be talking to us about networking. Let's get down to business.
I have one quick question,
yes,
if I could. If you could have his headphones. For somebody who doesn't like their job, for somebody who maybe is wondering, should I quit and go see something? Did you have any tips for that?
Well, if you truly don't like your job, you have to keep the door open to look, because you never know. what door opens.
That's true. But also, I mean, my tip would be only look for a job while you have a job. If you really don't like it, don't wait till you lose your job.
That's
but
true.
we are going to be on next with Moshe Klein.
Don't miss Freedom